under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I'm just counting. How many we have?
Yeah.
We're just at quorum. Just at quorum.
Just to stay in what we're doing, just we need a motion to open the meeting, the workshop. Okay.
Marilyn's
all-
absent.
Fred, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting's open.
Keith.
Excellent. 123, 125 Elm. What's up, Mike?
Hey guys, how's it doing? Been a while.
Yeah. Gonna have Dave start us off.
Sure.
Right. Okay, so the, excuse me. Sorry about that. So the applicant returned from the Zoning Board of Appeals. They were granted a number of the variances. The ZBA, though, denied a couple of the variances as well. We'll go through my comments, but I think it might be helpful if Mike can kind of go through which variances were approved and which ones got denied. But my comments first. Number one, the plan shows a total of 23 parking spaces required, while only 21 spaces are provided, inclusive of the 2 ADA parking spaces. The planning board previously reviewed the plan and agreed that, as proposed, the plan provides adequate parking given that additional parking is available via a license agreement within the lease area, and that should the lease license expire or be voided, 2 additional spaces could be arranged on the subject property in the area where the dumpster enclosure is shown. Number two, at the October 14th, 2025 ZBA meeting, the ZBA denied the applicant's request for a variance from section 200-51O, which permits not more than 5 licensed vehicles requiring minor repairs may be left outside for a period not to exceed 48 hours, except as to the holding of a vehicle for not more than 60 days for insurance appraisal purposes covering property damage claims, and except as to the holding of a vehicle for the required period to perfect or protect a garageman's lien pursuant to statute, and except as to the holding of vehicles impounded by the state of New York. A note should be added to the plan stating that not more than 5 vehicles in need of minor repairs may be stored outside for a period of no more than 48 hours. The plan provides a vehicle storage area with potential to hold up to 32 vehicles. Applicant should discuss with the board the intent for this number of storage spaces and how they will maintain compliance with section 200-51O of the code. Number 3, the zoning code permits off-street parking to be located on a separate lot within 500 feet of the subject property with an easement. The applicant has provided a parking license agreement. We defer to the planning board's legal counsel for review of the license agreement. The applicant has agreed to provide a meets and bounds description of the license area prior to final approval. Number 4, as noted on the plan, it is proposed to consolidate tax lots 207-1-2 and 207-1-3 into a single lot. Consolidation of the lots by filing in the county clerk's office should be a condition of any approval granted by the planning board. Number 5, the plans include a turning analysis showing a garbage truck approach from the north, navigate around the building, and exit to the south. We recommend that the turning analysis also show that the anticipated garbage truck is capable of navigating the site in the opposite direction. We'll provide confirmation from the refuse collection agency that refuse collection will consistently occur as it is shown on the turning analysis. Number 6, per the project narrative, as a condition of granting a variance for the storage of vehicles in side yards, the ZBA requested a fence along the road frontage of the vehicle storage area. The fence shown on the plan appears to screen most of the vehicle storage area, but there is a portion of the front yard that does not appear to be screened. We recommend the applicant verify that the proposed fence is acceptable to the ZBA and provide a copy of the ZBA decision. We actually, I think, just got today a copy of the ZBA decision to review, but it seemed a little bit unclear. Number 7, the public hearing for this project was held on February 25th, 2025.
And then I'll just run through mine. Most of mine are duplicate. We did receive a signed agreement for the encroachment with Orange County. That had been an item we had been waiting, so that comment has been satisfied. I had a couple of comments on the landscaping and screening. I'm just waiting for those revisions. Those comments are unchanged. That's from before, so I just need those revisions, but that can be a condition of approval. The app, again, I agree with Dave with respect to the note on the number of cars that can be parked. And then I just have to double check. I think I need just to confirm the revised agreement per my earlier comments for the leased parking area. So we did get the determination. I think, Mike, the only thing I'm going to ask you to expand upon, which was, there are two areas, and just make clear. One, it says the rear yard for existing garage structure from 25 feet to 4.9 feet, and then for existing building to 16.2. Could you just clarify what that is?
Yeah, let me, do you want me to do that right now?
Yeah,
Let me open
Terry,
up the
can we
plan.
pull up the map? I think that'll just facilitate that.
I'm sorry, what?
Can we just pull up Mike's site plan on the computer? That would be great. And Mike, I have to email you my comments. I just finished
Sure.
them this afternoon.
Actually, it'd be easier for me to look at this. It's up on the screen. Go to the third sheet possibly. That's probably the site plan sheet. That should be the one right there. Do you have to point to this? So here's the reduction to the 16.2 feet, I believe is right there. And then we have another one, let's see if I can find it.
So Mike, just as you're doing this, is the existing building and the,
400 feet.
yeah, is the existing building and the existing garage structure the same structure?
This is the garage right here.
Right, so what this
That
is.
now makes sense.
Yeah, that's the garage, that's the repair shop.
So the
So-
Okay, so here-
4.9 applies to that building, and the
Correct.
16.2 applies to that building.
Correct.
And so
Oh.
instead of, so what the ZBA has effectively done, often we get a variance where it's just one number, and it would be, if they, in this case, if they gave 4.9 across the board, it would be 4.9 all the way along the property line. They're saying for that one
For that
building,
building.
you get 4.9, but for the other building, you got a 16.2.
They want to,
They just, it wasn't as clear as it could
Okay.
have been in the, so does that make?
but they're allowing the expansion of that as long as it's no closer than
16, that's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And they wanted to be specific about the buildings and the actual separation, so that's how they listed it.
They weren't very specific.
They tried to be. That was the intent anyways.
Okay, so that answers, thank you, Mike, that answers that question.
Okay.
And then could you just, I see, approved the following variances: storage of vehicles in required yard with the exception of the front yard, unless appropriate screening of the car storage area is provided. I think that was your discussion on the fence. Could you just elaborate on that for
Yeah,
us?
sure. So, they didn't want to grant the front yard variance unless we could provide the screening. So, you know, as we discussed with this board, I didn't think that was the best approach, but in light of the ZBA pretty much putting their foot down and saying, we want to see the screening in the front yard, we met with the DPW, because I got to make sure before I come before this board that everybody's okay with it and it's going to work. So we met with Aldo from the DPW. We took a look at this entire frontage over here.
And that's where they're talking right there.
That's correct. This is the car storage here. This is screening in the front yard right here.
So can I, and maybe, I'm gonna back it up, I think, a second. So if, you have 32 spots there, right?
I believe so, yes.
But you can only put 5 there, because you didn't get that variance.
No, they can't keep more than,
We can't keep more than 5 there that
you can
require
have
minor repairs.
more parking spaces.
So what are those parking spaces for?
So, they all operate a car leasing business, and they also rent cars through the business to people who have a damaged vehicle, who have a car. In the meantime, you follow them saying to utilize and rent. They do some brakes, they do inspections, things of that nature. So they have vehicles that are in there for very, very short periods of time. While they're queuing them, waiting for them to get in, this is an area that they place all those vehicles in as well. So it's utilized not just for car repair in terms of like auto body repair, but it's also car leasing, car rental.
Now, is the car leasing and rental, is that an approved use? I know we talked about this ways back.
believe it is. It's
Liz, do you remember?
it's incidental to the business. The lease, the rental for sure is incidental
So
to,
what is,
to the
did you say
business.
motor vehicle sales or motor vehicle repair?
Yeah.
Let me see if it says anything in the code.
Weren't they gonna originally keep the leasing cars up across the street?
I don't think you guys wanted me to do that.
No, we didn't. But-
We didn't want repaired cars across the street.
Right, well, the thing is, these leasing cars, are they waiting for repair also?
No, they're,
No.
They're just storage of the leasing?
they're like your
and-
loaner car.
Okay.
Well, okay, so
How would it
there's
differentiate?
rental and leasing.
got
The
a price.
rental would be for my understanding, like I don't operate the business, I'm doing the best I can to relate the information. So if I make a mistake, you know. But the rental is for the actual vehicles that are being repaired, short term.
They give a rental for, while
Correct.
they're being repaired.
Correct. Leasing could be a longer term thing or whatnot, I believe. They actually can operate like a car leasing
It's
business.
like enterprise maybe, something
Yeah.
like that, right?
Something like that, yeah.
Something, yeah.
Rental and or lease. So longer term, you lease it, short term, you rent it.
So they'll be
Can they keep
intermingled
cars
with.
that
Correct.
need major repair?
With vehicles that require any repairs.
Why do you
I
go
know
there?
the difference.
We,
That's all I'm thinking.
we're prepared to tag them.
Tag 'em? Okay.
So we can, red, yellow, green, whatever colors we want to pick tonight. And, you know, we can put something that hangs on the rear view mirror or the dashboard or wherever we think makes the most sense. As long as it's in the car, someone can come and enforce it, I think, fairly quickly.
All right, that's feasible.
And he's willing to, he thinks he can move these cars 5 days in 48 hours. He doesn't think he'll have an issue.
Okay.
He didn't want that burdened on him because it's, I don't think necessary, but he feels that he can actually do it.
And what did the DPW help you with how they're gonna, if you put screening there, remember plowing is gonna be?
That's something we looked at, and so we talked about what he would need for a distance. He felt that like about 1 foot behind the utility pole. That gives us about 4 to 5 feet on average, depending on where the striped line is.
Mhm.
So there's a white striped line.
Right,
So that gives from the white striped line to like our fence, about 4 to 5 feet.
okay.
And he thinks that's enough room for him to.
It won't damage his fence or
Without,
anything
without
like
doing
that.
any damage possibly.
Oh, God, I
Okay,
can't wait
good.
today.
Good.
1 foot past utility pole.
And we thought it was gonna result in a lot more car loss for storage, which it actually didn't. I think we ended up losing 3, 4 spaces, maybe something like that. So
And I
know
think
what-
we have an email from DPW to that effect,
Yes.
right?
That was provided. I can send it right now if you need it, but it was part of the, it's in that Dropbox link, it should be
Oh, it
actually.
was part of the subdivision?
Yeah, so if you have the actual folder, it should be in there.
Okay.
So I'm recollecting, I'm trying to remember it, I'd have to go back and I don't have my right computer with me, but that we were talking about, they didn't always lease or rent or one or the other.
No, they always did.
Both.
Both, yes, as far as I know. But so these were questions that were brought up during the ZBA process, because they wanted to know the exact way the business operates, so that they could understand better how to
Yeah.
grant variances. So I learned at that point too, it's car sales and leasing, but has always, not sales, but rentals and leasing, but it's always operated that way. They've operated that way. Since we started here, they've operated that way. I just wasn't aware of that.
Liz, do you remember any of that, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Rentals, I know we spoke about. Leases was something I discovered myself during the ZBA process. We had the owner come in and actually have a discussion with the ZBA. They wanted him to come in, we brought him in, and he went through how the whole thing operates at that point.
I don't know. In my mind, I think it was, the leasing wasn't being done. Or the rentals, one or the other. They weren't always being done. I mean, I can go back, I'll find out, I'll go back and check.
I can talk to the applicant too and see if they've got documentation we can provide to you to show, like, since when he's been
Yeah.
doing it, if that's something that the board's really concerned about. But again, I wasn't aware of the leasing part myself.
Yeah, okay. I'll find out.
So Aldo says it will have to be approved from the rest of the village now, right? So zoning, they approved that, the fence and all that, you said before?
So the fence is within our property line.
Yeah.
Our property line actually extends to the center line of the road, but the village, for maintenance of the road, utilities, things of that nature, right? They have a certain distance, typically, I forget what the actual distance is, some distance from the center line of the road. I went out there with Aldo, I said, when you plow, where do you need to be? And we looked at it, and then it was about 1 foot behind the fence, behind the pole, and we determined that would work out.
So what do you guys think about that fence, that front fenced area? That's the issue, because I know we weren't, it's liking it, because of the plowing and everything else.
We didn't like it, but it sounds like the ZBA more was insisted on it, right?
For them to do that
I
variance.
tried very diligently to explain to
I'm
them
sure
that
you
you're
did.
supporting the no fence in the front yard, and they didn't want to have it. I explained to them we have commercial properties across, everything that I went through with this board, I went through with them, and for whatever reason, they wanted the fence. They didn't want to bend on that. They wanted it screened.
I'm not sure we have to agree with that, is what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
If there's a mechanism for this board to want to remove that, you know we're on board with that. I'm on board either way. I've shown you that it can work with and it can work without. So if there's a mechanism to do that, we're glad to work with you. But I think we've got it so that we can go either way. It gives the board and us more flexibility.
It definitely makes it a little harder for the owners of that, just to even maintain the property with it. 'Cause now you can't even, like, at least get out over there, you know?
No, then, if you got a fence there,
Right.
and they can't get near it with the plow, now you got snow on the road.
Well, they got 45 feet, he said, so they might.
I gotta
I
trust
don't
that
even have that in my list
Aldo
of
knows his
variants.
roads.
Which one?
and that- Well, I mean, so
No,
there's.
this is an
so-
Aldo.
So we're gonna have to shovel our, so I have I still have a fence for access in and out of that, vehicle storage area.
But that sits back
Is
in,
it
right?
parking?
It sits back in.
They're talking about,
It wasn't on
Block
my
the
list
view.
of, it wasn't on my
so
list of.
they're
But
thinking,
if, like, we shouldn't get plowed in with snow in the wintertime, because if we have to get out through that fence, then the owner's gonna just have to.
no, I'm talking about the length of the fence. That's all fence, you're not, that-
We're not gonna remove that snow, not until it becomes an issue to the fence, if and when it does.
right, so it's set back, you're saying the fence when, because are they calling for a new fence or doing what with that fence?
Well, there's no fence there now.
There's no fence there.
Right, so it's a new fence.
Correct.
So you're gonna put a new fence in, and you're saying it sits 5 feet off the
4
road?
to 5, yeah. Off the white line.
Right. And what's between that, just macadam, just?
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Mike, I have a dumb question,
Sure.
because it's not on my original list of variances you needed. What section was that a variance of, the fence issue? Because it's,
Give me 1 second.
parking in the front yard is an issue in residential zones.
Now you can't see in there.
Yeah.
It's like right in trouble. Why would you do that?
I just
Cop drive by, they didn't see what's going on.
want to make sure you actually need a variance for that.
We were.
I'm sure you would not have unnecessary, it's not on my list.
I want to make sure as well. Give me a second to find
No,
this.
no, no, it's fine.
And they're saying that's, while you're looking there, Mike, they're saying this is a, like we would call it a privacy, they don't want to see.
Okay, I gotta confirm this, but we needed a variance for vehicle encroachment into a yard. And I think it was, they didn't want to grant the front yard unless we had the screening.
I know, but what section says you can't have cars in that yard?
200-51I.
Okay, there it is.
Say that last one again, Mike. The
51I.
variance was for what?
So,
Oh, it's in the
so
site
storage of
specific.
vehicles within a required yard. They didn't want, the ZBA didn't want to grant us the front yard, because we need it. We have.
Which is the yard that what's
which
the
is-
front
which is
yard?
the
that-
yard that faces
Okay.
Elm Street.
Right, so point to it, right there, right, okay.
They didn't want to
It's
grant,
this
like,
special
these
permit
vehicles
standard.
here being within the front yard unless we.
Shall be
did
ample
provide
and well
screening.
screened and shall not encroach on any.
So the screening also screens police from seeing what's going on back there?
We've discussed all this, yeah. We went through this and I'm on.
I don't understand the
we're-
logic.
The board and the applicant are on the same page. I couldn't explain to you the reasoning for their denial. I actually really couldn't.
Did they give you any logic to like, like what it was? Like, here's why we're granting it?
Or not?
Or, well, I mean,
Well, in this case, they granted it with the fence.
correct.
So did they say the reason we want the fence,
There's
you
a,
know,
there's
screened?
enough people in a residential area along Elm Street that will drive up and down Elm Street that will pass by this and see this. That was, if I recall correctly, that was pretty much it.
Reasons really is the only.
But I
So
mean,
not safety reasons, it's just for site reasons.
literally to just screen the site so the people in the residential public don't have to see it. I mean, I thought that was gonna be the easiest variance I got. The most logical variance I would get. But it's okay. I mean, it's what the ZBA determined. We have to live with that, and we have a fence there now. Unless by some legalese.
No, you gave me the site and it's right.
It's right. So,
Sorry, Mike.
so if I put the fence up the way the ZBA wrote their determination, the variance for front yard then is granted.
Right.
And the other thing too was, I guess they felt like in the rear, they were more comfortable because there's such a larger separation distance between the edge of the property and any of the parks or the trails or anything of that nature. But here we're right up against the road.
Right. Now, was there any kind of like U-Haul business there?
I don't believe we've ever, a U-Haul business? Oh, he does? Okay.
So there's that too.
I guess that would fall into the rental lease.
So,
That one never came up.
I
I just
think,
heard that one from you right now, actually. I didn't know about the U-Hauls myself.
I think as a belt and suspenders, I would recommend an interpretation from
From the zoning board.
From the, no,
No?
from the building inspector
Mhm.
as to whether those uses are considered ancillary. I certainly understand the rental for like a loaner car type situation for repair. I can certainly buy that, right?
Right, because that's a third business in my head.
Right, so I think what I would recommend is an interpretation as belt and suspenders as to that issue. And then, really, that's, in my mind, based on my list, those were the outstanding issues.
Right.
We've already done our neg deck. You will have to make a determination, and I believe we have those submissions previously on architectural review.
Sorry, say that again?
So as we're winding down these issues,
Mhm.
the next step is
Architectural ARB.
is conditions, because again, it's a site plan special permit, so are there any conditions attached? Architectural review.
Yeah, I'd also like to know if there's other businesses going on that we haven't asked about.
I could talk about that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Box jumps, leasing.
That's a whole other thing. And it's a residential, so now you're increasing.
Yeah, I don't understand it at all.
Because we've processed this as
Okay, I just received the information you were asking about when those businesses were established, so I can send those to Terry.
Okay, you want to just tell us just real quick?
Yeah, it's on my phone.
So the leasing and rentals are strictly cars, or now it's trucks and everything?
Just give me one second.
Well,
I just don't want to get
That'll be trucks if it's
confused.
Like
It'll be trucks if it's U-Haul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. that's-
Trailers.
Yeah.
that's-
You know,
It's my Home Depot GPs.
normally I bring it with me today. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. All right.
GB, right?
Hmm?
GB's on, just
So-
pulling up the table.
The Upstate Collision, it's doing business as Upstate Auto Leasing. This has a validation date and number dated July 8th, 24.
What?
So that's certainly before we made application.
Well, wait,
No.
wait.
Before, that's not right.
They filed with the Department of State, or they filed for a permit with the building department?
Oh, let me show you. These are the certificates right there.
Okay, well, those are business certificates. So that doesn't necessarily bestow a land use right. That's fine that they exist.
Oh, no. He was just asking when was the
Oh, okay.
leasing business
But
established.
that doesn't necessarily
No,
bestow
I
a
agree
land
with
use
that.
right.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a land use right. The chairman just wanted to know when these were established. So I have, yeah, that's the date.
And Upstate Leasing is which one? Is that U-Haul?
Upstate Leasing, is that U-Haul? No.
So what is that? That's just people, that's us leasing cars out,
Correct, yes.
okay?
Terry, I sent this to you right
Is that the only one you have there, Mike?
now. I have, some of them are slightly covered. So these all say Upstate Collision Corp. The top one is the one that says Upstate Collision Corp. Doing business as Upstate Auto Leasing.
Look,
And I think the rental is certainly ancillary to the
rental
use.
motor vehicle sales, car wash.
And towing.
But maybe not to the code.
Well, yeah, we'll look at that, but at least when they were established, that's.
Right, so you're saying that Upstate Collision is a
What?
corporation, and you're saying
Yeah.
that Upstate
What's that thing
Leasing is subsidiary to that,
51.
owned by
So
Upstate.
Auto Leasing is doing business under,
So it's a DBA?
yes,
Mike,
yes.
you ready? 251 A2.
Okay, give me a second. 200 what?
251, 200-51. A2. The following shall be permitted by special use permit in the GB district. The special permit, and then we have motor vehicle, and this is on the LUD, motor vehicle repair and paint shop. Permitted accessory uses, gasoline sales, convenience store, towing, rental, motor vehicle sales, and car wash. So the rental is a permissible accessory use.
Including U-Haul. Now you're escalating a residential area there
Well,
with
but
residents.
they're still limited by this physical space they have, so
Yeah, I don't see us putting a lot of.
if they
U-Haul
have,
trucks.
if they have 10 trucks, they get fewer cars. If they have more cars, they get fewer trucks.
If I'm not correctly, it only has 2 trucks. I'm trying to confirm that to you guys.
You can,
So
again,
you can condition it for 2 trucks.
well, you can condition it to the reasonableness of the space provided, so, so I just want, so that's, Terry, 200-51, A2.
So if they're limited to a handful of vehicles for 48 hours, will they be filling the rest of the spots with leasing and rentals? I
That's-
mean,
That's correct.
that's what it'll be. It'll be
That's-
mainly leasing and rental vehicles.
So, today, right, because we wanted to try to be prepared, there's give or take about 25 vehicles out there. About 10 of them are waiting for insurance pickup. 10 of them were there as rental/lease pickups and returns. 5 were actually there for repairs at that point. So again, we'll tag them with whatever we determine makes the most sense, and we'll put them in a visible spot.
And just to be clear, no, they are not allowed to have any unlicensed or dismantled vehicles on the site, outside of the building. They can have a dismantled vehicle inside the building, but that's regardless of number. So that's in that same provision.
So everything's got to be intact in the parking
Right.
lot. Okay.
You can have a car missing a fender, but you can't have, where you,
It can't be on.
it can't be up on blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, other than the expansion, we're not changing the operations of this facility. It's the way that it's operating right now. So, we're introducing a few more bays, which should actually make it easier for us to process the cars and meet the 5 cars within 48-hour limit. We're trying to make improvements to the site to clean it up and make it better. I mean, I know I agree with the board about the fencing in the front, but if it's what we have to do, we'll put fencing in the front. In lieu of that, I'm not sure what else to do. Well, unless there's a way around it, but I'm not aware of it.
The impound stays where it was, right?
The impound will
Yeah,
stay.
yeah.
That was part of, I think, one of Dave's comments actually was, I don't know if we should talk about it now, we'll get to it as we go through the comments, but, so we're showing the fence, right, I can't block in this impound area, because that's like fully fenced in on 4 sides. I believe they get out with a gate right here, so from here to here kind of needs to be open to the road. So I was gonna take this fence, hook a right-hand turn, and connect to that corner right there. Then I locked all these vehicles in. Now, I have no problem, right, taking that and connecting it there.
Hard time seeing
But for
this.
emergency purposes, I thought it was kind of nice to have just a little quick way to get out this way too. So we can get out this way, we can get out this way, we can get out that way, and if required, we can get out that way. I don't believe any cars coming around this turn, because the fence ends right there, they'll really be able to see anything in here.
It's one way anyway.
It's a one-way anyway.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
my point, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, coming in would be, I don't think they'd see much, but I didn't want to put a fence or a gate there just for flexibility purposes. If this is something that's an issue with the board, we could certainly put it in, right?
Yeah, I
You
mean,
understand what I'm
I don't
saying?
know why you'd need, I do, I don't know why you'd need another exit.
Does it?
I don't know that we will ever, but I thought that,
No, I mean, if you're gonna do a fence, I'd say make it look finished, bring it right to the end.
so connected back
Yeah.
around this way.
And Mike, you have a gate, you might not, I don't know if you want to see it here, but there's a gate labeled.
Oh, no, I know that. I
Right
have
here.
one there.
Right.
I just was thinking, rather than make this connect there and shut it off, this would be just another way, emergency way out that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll connect that to that post to that post. It's not a problem.
You're not spotting cars.
Oh, this here, you mean?
Right, 4 tires.
This?
Right there, there's a parking.
Yeah, come down there.
That was just like for me, from a like super flexibility standpoint.
So this fence is staying,
So,
right here?
yeah, that has to stay. That's the impound.
We're into a lane.
Why is yours pretty and mine's not?
Yeah, they're good
That
question.
car
What's
should
that
actually
scale
never
there?
been put
It
there.
should-
Okay.
Yeah, but like, so where this fence, you see that corner right there? Really, I could just.
Yeah, I see exactly.
I
It
can
looks like
connect the
4
fences right
Right.
there. I left it open because I was like, you know what, it's just another way to sneak out if they needed to, and I didn't think it would preclude
There's no lane.
or really serve any purpose for screening.
You see, when I read the notes that you had about the ZBA, I assumed that what they wanted was that this was to be screened, this whole
The storage
area.
area,
Right,
if I do that, the storage area is screened.
right, if you close it off.
Yes.
Right, okay.
I mean, if I don't close it off though, I don't know that you could see it anyways. I'm okay with closing it off. It's fine.
Okay.
Does everybody understand what I said about the fence and closing it?
Yeah, which,
Can you, sorry, can you zoom in on this file a little bit?
Yeah, my computer hates this, and it's like, yours is all pretty and neat, and mine looks like it's like a
I don't go next. Just
3 times bad scan. Yeah, it just.
Well, it's taking a while to load.
Mike, while you're there, just forward thinking of it, I know there's a car, like, that depicts cars. How do they get in and out of there? Is there a lane to get to the back side?
There's,
Okay.
between
there's-
each of the set of cars,
yeah,
between each
I'm
row.
gonna look at that too, but
Okay.
there's a few fences.
That's a big old lot.
See if you could just, yeah, there you go, not the wall.
Yeah.
So, this is the proposed fence with the gate right
Mm-hmm,
now. This here is the existing impound area.
mm-hmm.
So I left a gap between the proposed fence and the impound area because it's just another little emergency exit out of here. That's
Yeah, but then you're gonna see an impound area.
I don't know that you would, but I'm gonna let you know right now, we take no exception to taking this and connecting it to that fence right there, and then this entire area is screened in.
Yeah, I would think that the,
In and out of, how do you get out of the impound area? Is there a gate? Where's the gate?
Oh, the gate's right here along your frontage, so I would have to take this proposed fence and then connect it to the impound gate corner right there. I can't go along the whole frontage, because the gate for the.
right, so then you're gonna lose that, whatever, is that a parking spot or two spots right there?
And it's all screened in the way I'm showing it.
So there, that's what doesn't show on the plan. So if you go into that last car, there's a gate there.
Right here.
That's what's not clear on the
This-
plan.
this
For the
existing-
impound.
Yeah, this existing impound area, the gate for it's right there.
So if you fence it off, you're fencing off your gate.
That's right.
Okay, that's
So
what's not
I
shown on the
have
plan.
to-
Got
I
it.
have to come here and connect back there with the proposed fence.
And over.
Right here,
Yeah,
straight down. I can't, the over's already there, that's the
Yeah,
fence.
yes, it's there.
And I can't block that because I have to be able to get cars in and out of the impound.
So how do you move those cars?
I
Like,
didn't-
is this just out of
I didn't-
scale, or are there
didn't-
rows that you're driving those
No,
cars?
like separate from the other storage
This is
area.
scale,
Like I look at
like
this
rough
existing
dimensions
fence,
of
like that was
cars.
gonna be taken
Okay.
down with the front of the
How do you
cars.
move a middle car? Let's point to the middle.
How do you move a back car?
Well,
There's
so,
no
I mean.
gate even shown on it.
Well, that's what
So don't forget.
threw me for the loop.
Yeah.
When he's like, I'm blocking. I'm like, what are you blocking?
But how do you get the cars out? Like,
So we're
move your pointer to the
It's there
right.
with the Puerto Rican.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm showing you what a
You know
maximum
what I'm talking about?
car count could be here, so there's no deception. I don't know that we're gonna have this many.
But if you do,
But if you do, they're all getting in.
how do you move them?
It's gonna operate like it's a parking lot attendant. You're gonna have somebody in here who's pulling one car out and somebody else is
Who's very
telling how far you can
So-
go back.
So where are they pulling them out to?
You could either take these vehicles and come this way in, which would probably be a majority of the way they go, if possible. My thought was this, they'd load them in the front.
All right, pause for 1 second.
Yeah.
Aren't they rentals
Some cars in here will be.
and U-Hauls?
Correct.
So the rentals and U-Hauls, and you gotta get to one because it's a different kind, because somebody wants that rental. When you're pulling them out and you have your one guy car attendant doing this, where are they parking the cars to get them out?
I'm not sure I understood the question.
So if I have to move 4 cars or 5 cars to get to a vehicle, where am I putting those 4 or 5 cars to get the
Say
vehicle?
the car up against the impound fence.
So go against the fence in the
All the way
bottom.
up
Can
against
we
the
just,
impound
sorry, can you
fence.
just drag us this way a little bit?
6 cars, 7 cars.
That was a little bit.
That is the most sensitive mouse. Having had to use it myself, it is a super sensitive mouse.
Are we good?
So now repeat your question?
Put your pointer in the middle of the bottom set of cars.
Yeah.
Now, you gotta go and get 2 cars to the right of that pointer.
He's gonna have to position these cars so that he knows which ones he's working on first or not.
Great, so when he positions them, there's some rentals there too.
The rentals, he's gonna have to put in a spot where he may have to exit out this gate.
So let's say he doesn't do that because it's not written anywhere and he's not bound to do that.
Well, let's do that now.
Okay, we could do that. But if he wasn't, where would they where would they move the cars to while they're pulling?
Across the street.
You're gonna park on the street.
No,
That's-
across
we have
the
the-
street.
Oh,
We have to
pull it
block
across the street to park them
Mm-hmm.
while they're moving them and bring them right back? Is that what we're saying?
Whatever they do with them, but if they're not, we had,
Well, you can't leave them there because we're not allowing that.
well, we said no repaired vehicles over there.
26 feet.
Oh, we said rentals is fine?
If it's if it's not waiting for repair,
Yeah.
the
So-
restriction is on the number of cars waiting to be repaired. So,
Right.
It does look just very difficult in order to like park.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Even the first car.
It just doesn't make sense looking at that.
So, yes,
Unless the
yes,
tire's looking
and
like
yes.
this.
Again, I'm showing
Austin Powers.
whatever it is, 25 or 26 cars. In reality, he may only be able to put 22 cars in there, so he's got enough room to do some maneuvering. But I'm trying to show the board that if I pack the lot, this is the number of cars I can get in there, so it's established.
Do you ever see the auto shop over there on Spring Street?
Which one specifically?
About 3 down
Right
from the
across
vet?
Prospect.
What's the name?
Just past the vet till, the name of it? Do you know the name?
Is it 238 Spring?
No,
We
but
got an address, 238 Spring,
Across the park? Across the park?
across from the park. So those, they go through the same thing. They have a lot like that,
Mhm.
right? Just stacked.
Yeah.
So they just block the road up. They come out and park on the sides of the road, and it's mayhem.
Well, I don't believe we've ever had a complaint about this lot. I don't know that that's ever happened here.
No, but you're expanding, and you're now doing more vehicles,
I mean-
and you're gonna be doing rentals.
I think what we're trying to do is accommodate the business that he has with this, not to actually.
Why would you expand?
Because he can't handle the business that he has right now.
But if you're doing it just to handle the business that you have,
That's correct.
but why is he expanding then? Because you're handling the business that you have.
He's turning customers away.
Right,
he's
so
not even-
therefore,
he's-
he's expanding, which means more cars are gonna be parking.
Nah, it's not the way it's been
If
explained.
I'm gonna drop my car off, and you're turning me away before we do the expansion,
Yeah.
and I say, hey, Mike, you're the owner, hey, Mike, I wanna drop my car off, and you say, I can't have it, but now after I expanded,
Okay, what I think, let me phrase it a different way. You're a client of his, you've been a client of his for years. You come to him today and say, hey, I'd like you to fix my car, and he says to you, I don't know that I can get to you today. Or I don't know that I can get to you at all. So you were already a part of his business plan, you were already a client of his, but he just didn't have the capacity to handle you right now.
because he took other customers.
I don't know that he's taking any more customers.
There's an expansion, if there's an expansion to a building, there's an expansion to the work.
Right.
So, that means there's more cars.
Right. I understand what you're saying to me, but, I mean, this is how it's been explained to me.
Right.
What I can tell you is that in a temporary manner of speaking, if the board's okay and we're allowed to utilize this area temporarily for just moving cars around, especially as it relates to any rental cars, things of that nature, we would do that. We've not done that because it wasn't this board's pleasure at the time. I'd also note, though, that we've got plenty of area behind the building in here for temporary, like I can pull this car out, I can pull this car out, I can get to this car, pull it in, and then I can put those cars back. So.
Well, you can't pull those cars out unless you move the ones in front of it.
I can pull this car out without moving any car.
How do you do that?
A 32.2.
Like I said, I don't think that I can have 25 stacked cars in there like
But
I
here
have
we,
right
but
now.
here we do.
But Mr. Chairman, I'm showing you the number of cars for the purpose of establishing a count on the lot. That's all I'm doing here.
Right, Mike, so I have to take your established count
Yeah.
as real. That's what I'm doing.
This is 25 or 26 cars shown in this area. It very well may be 21 or 22
It may
for
be.
operational purposes.
Or maybe 30.
We can't fit that.
Right.
I can't fit that in that area.
So my point is, given this, if it's that full, if it is,
It's not going to be able to be that full simply because we're going to have operations of moving the cars.
So why
If
is
I
the
would- if
board
I was
do it
gonna-
like this?
yeah, so why not say, let's not have that many cars? Let's reduce
If
it.
it's not proposed to be like that, that's what we're saying. If we say, okay, that's fine, oh, you can do that, then they can feel free to go ahead and do that.
Okay, so my understanding was to put the maximum amount of cars that I could fit in that lot. So,
But you're saying to me at the same time,
Yeah.
they don't fit.
what you're asking, so what you're asking me is logistical operations. You're asking an engineer how an auto body shop actually moves cars in and out of their vehicle.
Hey, listen, we're gonna give this to parking
And-
attendants
and-
that don't have an engineering
and-
degree.
and I mean, seriously. I mean, we have, this is 26 feet wide. So, like, 3 cars can fit in this area to pull out. There's lots of room to turn out. I've also got a gate here, so I mean, I can pull cars out of here, get them in out of the way, I can pull those cars out of here, get these out of the way. I mean, I don't know how to explain to you how they're gonna parking lot attend the lot.
Can I ask you a question
yeah.
for clarification?
I mean, if
When
I just remove that one car right there,
And you have
just
to come
one.
out.
Now I can start filing.
No,
things
yeah,
out.
now.
That section is vehicle storage, that does not count
I mean,
towards
I
your
just need to
parking.
lose one car here.
Okay, so they don't.
Just
And
have-
now I can start moving every car out of here with no
I
problem.
mean, it's helping, but you see the logistics of the.
No, but I'm just trying to show you that maximum limit of cars is whatever the number, 25. I can't squeeze more in there than that. So if you come by and you see 30 cars, you know something's wrong.
All right, so we just want to be clear that that's for vehicle storage, not for the day-to-day operation of parking, right? the site has to, they still have to have their dedicated number of parking spots above the vehicle storage. So that's,
I mean, does it make sense to just show that area as a vehicle storage area and not show the actual vehicles?
that way the board's not necessarily, because look, if you get a whole bunch of Chevy Suburbans versus a whole bunch of
That's a good point.
Mini Coopers, you can get more Mini Coopers than you can Chevy Suburbans.
Just remove the vehicle count and
Yeah,
be a little
so
more comfortable with it.
I think I agree with Dave's assessment is to just note that space, and then that's not a condoning of X number of cars, right?
It's just what fits in that area.
What fits in that area, because I want to be clear that, like I said, you could have 26, Mini Coopers because they're small cars. I doubt you'll have 26 Mini Coopers at the same time, but I've seen crazier things. If you get somebody in there with, you get a couple of U-Haul trucks, 12, 16 footers, whatever, you're gonna not have the same number of spaces available to you.
You happen to have it, I don't remember, is there a note on the plan that talks about the road shall not be used for parking the vehicles, for, attendance?
I don't think that's actually noted in the plans, but we can put that on.
I mean, I assume
think
that's part of, that's part of the concern, I think.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, that's a big part of the concern, because we don't want to have a repeat of 238 Spring Street at all, right? So,
That place is a mess.
yeah, so,
So what I think we can do is authorize me in coordination with Dave to start putting together a list of conditions and notes based on our various comment memos for review by the board. I'll need some time to draft that. We need to address each of the special permit standards. There are gonna be some conditions attached. The board will need to go through its architectural review. So do we have samples on that one? Do we have samples on that one?
Yes, you have. Do they have the
Do we have
samples?
what?
Samples.
Do we give materials?
Yes.
Oh, we have
Oh, we do
I
it.
think so.
I draft out some.
Yeah, I believe we did.
Except the stone, the stuff, the color.
Two different colors of like lighting.
Okay,
I don't think we sold them yet. right?
so
Oh, we did?
Terry can bring them down for the,
Yeah, we'll
you
take
can
a
do
look
that.
when we review that, yeah.
So I can have this drafted, and then the board can add conditions.
Okay, questions? Nobody on this side? Well, you're on this side. So, okay,
Circulate it with you.
I think that's it.
Okay. All right, so we'll see you guys at the formal November meeting. Is that the idea, or
For when?
this month? This is a work session, correct?
This is work session.
Yeah.
25th?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, super. I'll put that on my calendar. 11:25. Is that what I heard somebody say?
That was me.
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Yes.
that's a Tuesday.
I think you both said 11:25 at the same time. So I'm gonna assume it's right.
Unless they can't see it.
Mental connection.
Well, that was easy.
That helps.
All right. if there's
All
no-
right, no, yeah, I think that's it. I
No,
appreciate it, Mike.
this-
All right,
Thank you.
great.
This
We'll see you then.
didn't
Have a great night,
help.
everybody.
Yep, yep.
Just didn't
Have a good one.
Like,
Yeah, I
he
know.
offered a better
Yeah, no, I know.
explanation.
All right, so then, yeah, for a second, just, hey, you know what? No, do it right now. I'll do it right now. 236 High Street, informal review.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, how are you? Tim Mitz here on behalf of Rest Haven. Recently there was an approval or amendment to turn Rest Haven into a country inn. The intent is first floor will be all restaurant, some 3,600 square feet, including the kitchen, storage, etc. Second floor will be all lodging for short-term rentals, up to, I think it's 7 days is a restriction of whatever the code calls for. And then the third floor would be merely a non-public office space for the operators of the building. So we've been through this before years ago. Jeff had signed off on a site plan approval originally to make it an assisted living. Unfortunately, I had made a promise to the mayor, and I kept to my promise, is by the time we got to Albany and Department of Health, they wanted to enclose all the staircases. And I wasn't about to do that, not with that house. So what I'm before you today is we have one mere site adjustment that needs to be done here, and it's parking. And I've submitted to your board to review after speaking informally with Steve Sparaco, who we're going to use for the land survey. We're looking to put the parking space in the back corner of the property behind all the trees so you can't see it from the road. Originally, and I don't have a pointer like him, but let me just show you. Up the corner there. Oh, thank you very much. This here was part of the originally approved spots. And over here was originally approved. This was the area handicap. What we did is it was a garbage here. We're gonna move the garbage over here so it's a direct in, push these parking spaces back and wrap it around this way and bring them back out this way. So it's still a one-way as approved. It's still the same exact thing that John Sherny had signed off on from the fire department. So zero is changing. Internally, zero is changing. I'm not even proposing a sign on the road because the theory is Rest Haven has a plaque, an historical plaque that is actually guided by multiple national non-for-profit organizations that track historical properties. They GPS that sign. So there's no reason to put another sign there if they actually monitor it. Now, if we can put maybe one on the building, but that's about on the building itself, but that would be discussed with, but that's not even in the plans right now. So that's basically what we're up to. Like I said, nothing is changing, and you gentlemen and ladies know my history very well. I don't like touching this building. It's my little baby. My kids think I love it more than them. Sometimes, but this costs more than my kids. But that's primarily why I wanted the informal, to give you a picture of what's going on and give me the process that we would use. But like I said, also in your thing came off here. In your approved plans, let me put that there. In your approved plans, like I said, you have all the topography and everything. So none of that's changing because we're going to the back, and I believe we have to stay 15 feet off of the existing property line. The back is already from the prior, had to have a fence along the back, so 3 sides are all fenced in with full fence. Nothing, no parking, nothing approaches the back corners on either side of the house, and it's all diagonally straight across. Everything stays right behind the house, so you don't see it. You'll see what you see, that's historical, but you won't see that. You won't see the parking space. We tuck them away a little bit.
So where exactly the parking spaces, can you point to them?
I'm sorry?
Point to the proposed parking spaces, please.
The majority of parking spaces will be in here, in this red area, which is the back corner of the property. So if you're looking at the house, it's a far back corner where it's got brush. The reason it's done this way is there are trees here, and there's trees down here, there's trees over here. So this is actually encompassing the trees. So we're not encroaching on the tree area whatsoever. All we're doing is building around the tree, and I don't know what you call it, but they're putting a border around the trees where it stays the way it is.
What's there now, just grass and?
Grass, pure grass. It's pure open field. We sit on 2 acres of land there. So that's strictly been grass that I have to mow over the years, and That was it. But all my water line is actually running off, is coming down this way. So that's not even being touched. The most I have to do is put a drainage between this opening here to allow the continuous, but we don't get a lot of rain that runs off of that anyway. There's really not much rain that runs off of that. So,
You gonna disturb more than half acre?
huh?
Are you gonna disturb more than half an acre?
They haven't given me the exact measurement, but I'll say we're in that ballpark.
Is that all residential right alongside the parking lot?
It's residential's on all sides.
And how far is the parking lot to the property line?
To the parking area will be 15 feet, I'm told, off of the fence line, property line. And that's why I wanted to mirror the old survey by just adding this in as opposed to reinventing the wheel on the map. I don't think we really need to, because when we had a lot of that back and forth, one way, two ways, was it good enough, was it not good enough for fire code, can the trucks get in there, can they not get in there? This actually offers a second hand, is that the fire trucks will be able to come through the new parking lot as well and come around the building as well, because along the back of the building, there's a row of trees here that sit there, and they're fairly higher than the building.
I think a proposed parking configuration would help the board get an idea of how many spots there actually would be, where they would go.
Okay.
Do you have an idea of how many?
We're projecting the occupancy level based on rough estimates. When you take 3,600 square feet, I take off the kitchen, which is about 600 square feet between storage and everything. We're down to about 170 seats, and I'm calling it 50 parking spots. 45 to 50 parking spots, which I've spoken with Sparacle about, and he says that's the area that's workable, as well as what we did is by taking the garbage here and moving it over here on the side, we're adding spots. We're adding 2 more spots
And you're gonna add,
on
of
that
course,
one.
the potential rentals upstairs or.
Correct, it'll compass, exactly, that's exactly right. So I'm figuring,
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you have to block the headlights from going into the houses alongside where your parking lot is? That's all residential, is that gonna
all
be?
walls, except for the back property line, which was to be done as part of the previous site plan. All 3 walls have 6-foot high
That's-
fencing closed, 100% closed.
Okay.
So what I wanted to get from the board is instead of sending them out to redo everything, what do I need to add to this that would complete it? Obviously, the number of parking spaces, in my opinion, would be subject to the building department's determination, I would assume, of what the occupancy of the building would be, taking into account what the lodging would be.
What did you ever, Ms. Smith, what did you do with the kitchen? I remember there was going to be a problem with the Ansel system or something.
Yeah, what happened with the kitchen is the kitchen is fully installed today. It was closed permit under Jim Cox. What ended up happening is Jim wanted us to go up the side of the building for venting.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at the back, if you're looking at the front where the kitchen is, left side. So through a little planning, creativity, what we ended up being able to do is if you look at the back porch, the intake is under the roof overhang, brings the air in, but the exhaust had to be 10 feet away. So now that exhaust is 10 feet away on the corner of the building, and everything that has been done to the house to date, as well as the fire escape still has to go back in. The ramp is just about complete. We just got the last piece down to the ground to do. That has all been planned and approved by New York State, including that exhaust. And that was the solution with the kitchen to get that vent system in, was as long as we were 10 feet off the corner of the building, even though we're on the flat roof, they said that was
So that's
sufficient.
been done and the permits are closed.
Permits are closed there. That was done in '23. Oh, by the way, that correction, the kitchen was done in '23, I found out, not 20. I told them 20, I was wrong.
So, listen, I love, and I hope it all works out, Rest Haven. I think as far as the planning board, the process, what you'll have to do is resubmit an application. Because I think I think the project was before us I think approval was given in 2020.
The approval was done in April 2020, and like I said, the purpose of today is, I understand the application has to be resubmitted and stuff,
Yeah.
but what I wanted to do is basically tell them to stay with what was already approved, just a modification for the parking for the board to approve, because there's really nothing new to the whole site that's going to happen but the parking space.
So
Right.
I can just elaborate on this. This is a special permit use subject to a site plan. We need to go through, if you haven't done so already, you need to obtain a land use determination from the building department as a prerequisite to that application. You're certainly
We're currently working on that.
You're certainly welcome to utilize materials and information, and actually, you're gonna probably hand us a lot of the information. But for the planning board's purpose, we're gonna treat this as an entirely new application, as if your others didn't exist. You are certainly welcome to rely on the data and information and have your professionals, I'm sure it's gonna be a revision date, and that's fine. Certainly that work was done. But again, from our perspective, it's gonna be a whole new file. We would also need at least a short environmental assessment form for that.
Yeah. And Dave, the half acre disturbance, does that do anything with the SWIP?
Yes.
Yes, so, yeah, the reason that they asked the question, and you're gonna wanna advise your consultants, if at all possible, to be below a half an acre of disturbance, because once you go over half an acre, the village code requires essentially preparation of a full stormwater pollution prevention plan, which then kicks in, other disturbance and improvements that would be needed. Stormwater management, collection, detention, treatment, a report. So kind of once you exceed that threshold, there's a lot more involved. So if at all possible, it would be in your best interest to maintain your disturbance to be below half an acre.
I mean, when I look at the map, it looks like it may be a half, because it's only, but, yeah.
Your engineer will need to certify that.
Yeah, well, he'll certify that, and I think that's gonna come down to a fact depending on how many parking spaces, because we're not gonna exceed or touch anything more than we need for parking space. And as I said, unlike La Vervicina, nothing is gonna be disturbed in the front of the property, everything will be in the back of the property. And in order to make sure, and I just want to make sure, I want to keep it the same concept, that we had and that we agreed on last time, because I would like to rely on the prior agreement by saying it's a one-way. I'm not going to start opening roads up and, because that was one of the issues we had before, that Mr. Sheeran came in and said there wasn't a problem with it. And I'd like to rely on that information as well before this board, because it's been already reconciled.
Yeah, well, I think, as council said, we're gonna look at it as a brand-new application, but you're gonna submit mostly everything that's been done,
Approved
and
before.
it'll all be revised,
Right.
I can't make you any promises with respect to one way until we see the parking configuration drawn out.
right? you have to
Well,
see
yeah,
part.
and I get
Once-
that.
Once it's drawn out, then we can evaluate. I don't necessarily have an objection now, but I'm not gonna make a promise until
No,
we see the drawing.
of course not, you gotta see everything,
I've been waiting on promises for years.
Just
Yeah.
also
With
note,
this.
the code provision does also require a floor plan in addition to a site plan.
The floor plan is the floor plan. Nothing's changing, so that'll be the building department. I've already discussed with that.
But you'll have to submit it to us.
Yeah, well, I guess it'll be part of your package, or do I submit it to them after, or?
No, it's part of our package.
Part of
because
your
It's
package.
a condition of the
Okay.
code.
Okay.
Okay.
And anything else that you think you would need? Because you're right, I was hoping you say revise, but, it's
Well,
gonna be
you
subject
certainly can
to.
look, I'm not suggesting
Yeah.
you throw out, and if you're retaining the same, I'm assuming you're retaining the same consultants, they should be able to make whatever revisions.
No,
and-
we're changing over, I went with Sparaco this time because it,
Well, then that's,
Yeah.
that's up to him.
Right.
Section 72, chapter 200, section 72 lists what's needed on a site plan now. Most of those will be needed items. So
Okay.
I don't know if he has, the pre-existing CAD work that your other
yeah, I don't
consultant.
know, I'll find out.
You might consider obtaining the CAD work. You might have
Right.
to pay your prior consultant a couple of bucks to get it.
Right.
If you're not willing to, you're not able to do that, then Mr. Sparaco will have to
Yeah.
create the drawing.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to come and check, that's good information about the half acre, because I don't know, but I'm just taking a ballpark estimate where we might be.
Yeah, so just tell them to keep it below it, if you
Right.
can.
And
Okay,
make sure
so-
they show, like you had mentioned, a culvert for drainage underneath the driveway access.
In that one section only.
Yeah, okay, but again, the plan that they submit should have the topography, any proposed grading associated with the parking, make sure that whatever drainage they need to convey,
Right.
that's shown on the plan.
That's why I mentioned the back of the property there, because it does slope down into that ravine between the main road that was already talked about and that. And that obviously then saves us any manipulation of the land as much as possible. I don't even want to use curbs on the property, on the parking areas. I just want to keep it natural looking, running into, as opposed to making it more commercialized, which I know that's not the purpose of what we're here for with the property.
Right,
If you
no,
have-
that's great.
If you have location of the trees, that would be great to
That's
show.
already, that's already set, that's
Got it.
gonna be, because that was one of the other issues we had, was where the tree is located and whatnot. The only thing I was thinking about, and I don't know where this board would sit about it, is, like I said, I wanna keep this as a one-way in and out on the back parking area. I don't wanna make it a two-way, because that gets more confusing when people are pulling out and they're pulling out the wrong way. So keeping it in a one-way, I don't know if the board, that would also use less land by doing that. That would cut down a few feet off of the needed land. So I just want to get a feel for the board tonight. It'll probably be a month or two before you get it, but I'm assuming you have
Yeah,
to.
I mean, as long as it meets code,
Right.
And
And is there I'm going to ask this dirty question, but is there a public hearing required too in
Yes.
this case?
there will be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. That gets, you know my history with that. So, yeah.
I mean, I think people would rather see a historical business,
Yeah.
site there and repurpose,
Yeah.
that
Well, we're
could
trying,
reduce- Yeah,
Like I said, they shot us down, well, not shut us down, but I wasn't gonna make those changes on that building. That was just after the young man died in the Spring Valley.
Right, I remember.
That's when they decided they were gonna close them up.
yeah,
So I couldn't do anything, my hands got tied.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I just wanted to check with you folks. Thank you very much for your
Yeah,
time,
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah. 105 High Street. And, yep. If you don't mind, just state your name again and spell the last name.
Hi, good evening. My name is Yitzchak Stein, S-T-E-I-N.
Perfect. And what we'll do, Mr. Stein, is I'm just going to let our engineer lead us off here.
All right.
Some of the comments that
Sure.
you're probably already aware of.
Okay, we'll start with this project description briefly. Project is the proposed subdivision of an existing 0.67 plus or minus acre parcel into 2 lots. The property is currently occupied by an existing 2-story dwelling and a garage. It appears that the dwelling is to remain and the existing garage will be demolished and replaced with a new proposed 2-story dwelling. The subdivision is proposed in the SR10 district where one-family detached dwellings are permitted. Number 1, note 7 on sheet 1 has a line item for a survey reference to boundary and topography. Subdivision map will need to be signed and sealed by a licensed surveyor.
So it was provided, I think,
Well, you provided a separate survey map.
the survey,
But
that's
the
correct.
subdivision map needs to bear the signature of a surveyor in order to be
Oh, the
accepted
site
for
engineer.
filing.
It was prepared by the site engineer, but they claim that the first submission is usually not signed, so.
Okay, well, we can
I
go through
thought
the
you
other
had a
comments.
feeling last time
and I
about
think That's fine.
the
Okay.
survey, yeah.
Number 2, sheet 2 includes a line located approximately 25 feet offset from the center line of High Street with a label indicating the line is a lot line as per unrecorded survey. Applicant's design consultant should clarify. If the property deed does not reflect the property line being 25 feet from the center line of High Street, it is recommended that the area within 25 feet be offered for dedication by the Village of Monroe for ownership and maintenance of the roadway. Lot areas will need to be updated to reflect the reduced lot area. So I guess the question is, does the property line run to the center of the road, or is it 25 feet offset from the center?
Yes, as per the deed provided for the board, it says that the property finishes in the middle of the road.
No, it doesn't.
No?
No, it doesn't. It also specifically.
So it specifically says that there will be at one point. I don't know. Really, I had a conversation with the surveyor on that, and he interpreted that saying that there is a possibility for the village to acquire this part of the property, although this is part of the property. So this is the interpretation the surveyor had for it.
So I'm just gonna jump into that. So we had previously asked for a title report or title policy. We did receive a deed into the predecessor in interest, but if you look at that Schedule A, it essentially describes the subdivision lots. So it says conveying lots 43 and 44. Yes, those lots on the original subdivision map, which was filed by Roscoe Smith in 1915, does show those lots. But then the very next sentence says expressly accepting from that the pieces of lot 43 and 44 that were conveyed to the village of Monroe. I also note that the tax map shows 25 feet less.
So we don't have a,
So they don't own to
we
the
don't
center
know
line
where
of
the
road.
owner, we don't know where it is.
So, because if you look, and I apologize, but I did a little drawing, which I will email this to you, okay? This number here, so this is 9th Street, this is High Street, this number here and this number here are 25 feet shorter, which would explain to the center line of the road.
Okay.
So, long story short, it doesn't matter, because our code also, even if you did own to the center line of the road, pursuant to 200-16, the setbacks are based on the street line, not the center line of the road. So you don't get the benefit of the center line of the road for your setbacks.
Or the,
All right.
or the lot area either. But, so we can continue to go through the letter, but those were, I think, kind of some of the elements that come into play, in part because I think there was some confusion as to where the property line actually goes to.
Right,
That's
so-
one of the reasons why
so-
we want to make sure that the surveyor provides us, you provide a signed subdivision map by the surveyor.
Okay, so we provided the deed. So you're saying that the deed shows that the property finishes at the road?
Well, I'm saying the deed does not clearly convey to the center line of the road because it specifically exempts a portion that was conveyed to the village. Now, I tried to do a quickie online title search, but the documents are too old.
Right.
But at
No,
what I can,
but for his
what I can
purposes anyway.
find, what I can find readily available online, it appears at some point
It was conveyed.
there was, because there was specifically reference to a conveyance to
Village.
to the village to expand High Street for the expansion
Right,
of
but
High
either
Street.
way, you can, what they're saying is you can't measure, you can't use it to the middle of the road. You're back at the line.
I get it.
Street
So,
line.
so in terms of the setbacks, I get what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
of course. But my question is, there is no proof that there was a change of ownership, let's call it like this.
Conveyance, you mean?
Okay, I don't know
Conveyance.
that because I haven't been provided a title report. I
So
asked-
what is the title report? You want me to provide it?
I'm assuming that when your client acquired title, that whichever attorney
This
assisted.
is what he got from the title. That this is what I send in. This is what he got. So in any case, it only matters basically on the size of the property, in terms of the lot area, I guess. So the question is,
Well,
the customer that has no issue conveying, giving the property for the village, he has no issue about it. He just wants to make sure that he's not losing his two-lot subdivision because of that. That this is what his concern is.
Well, we don't actually know where the property line is, right? I mean, that's part of the problem, but the deed reflects a conveyance. We're right now assuming that conveyance could be 25 feet off the center line, but we don't know that. What if it's more? I mean, I think the important thing is have your surveyor, and if you need to do a title report to determine where the property line is for the surveyor to be able to certify that that's the boundary, I think that's what needs to get done.
I think that's exactly what we did. We got a title report, but I'll definitely recheck about it.
Okay.
So if you can send us the title report,
I have a deed, which is not a title policy or a title
Right.
report.
but like you said, I mean, you'd assume it.
And
with-
there is like I said, the biggest issue is there is a discrepancy between what is listed on the surveyor's
Right.
survey and the tax map, and it's 25 feet. So it logically follows, can I guarantee it? No, but it logically follows that at some point there was a conveyance. Roads are typically 50 feet wide. If the center line was conveyed to the town,
25.
or to the village, excuse me, that would be 25 feet, and it would make sense why the tax map was 25 feet shorter.
So the tax map shows it 25 feet shorter? So the surveyor actually provided me the tax map. I'm just, no, that's the old tax map. I wouldn't go into it now. But,
The tax map indicates 232 feet of frontage on Knight Street, where the applicant's materials indicate 257.31 feet, a difference of 25 feet.
so what is going to change when the customer is going to provide a title report?
So your setback is going to be marked differently. I don't think that that's outcome determinative because it's a pre-existing building.
Yeah, that's exactly the point, yeah.
But the map has to be correct.
Yeah, okay, I understand that. My question is, does this change anything regarding approving the two-lot subdivision?
I would have to see the subtraction. I believe there's enough area to accomplish 2 lots, but I need to see the map to confirm. I need to see the map corrected.
Yeah, I think I agree with Elizabeth, yeah. It looks to me like you have enough area there, and the front yard is already an existing, you know, it is what it is. You're not proposing to make the front yard any less, because it's measured from the street line anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't think that would have any issue on your, on the approvability of your subdivision, but again, the map needs to be correct. And, you know, it has to be signed by a surveyor in order to be approved by this board and to be filed in the clerk's office, the county clerk's office.
How about we go with something like you wrote on the, I don't know if it's you, the engineer, you wrote on the comments saying that if it's in fact that the 105 High Street owns the half of the road, then we need to basically get it to change ownership to the village, yes?
I would say yes,
Yeah.
if the property actually still goes to the center of the road and the conveyance is, if there's no recording of the conveyance, or if it's less than 25 feet.
But you would
Then-
still need to show the revised map, even with a conveyance.
Correct.
Because
We still need to know where it does go to.
Right, so
Because
how
like
do
I
we
said,
find this out? We find this out from a title report, full title report?
It would be typically a title report and a surveyor.
I would imagine
So
the
the
client
survey
got it.
basically says that based on the information he has, this is the property line, so I
Well,
don't know how to take it next.
There is a
step.
discrepancy, so if I don't see a discrepancy, I usually don't dig into this, but there is a noted discrepancy, so I need to dig into this, because we need to make sure that the survey map that Jeff signs, excuse me, the subdivision plat that Jeff signs is correct, and we're not creating a title issue with the county clerk's office when we file that map.
Right, because the surveyor, I guess, would be saying that there was no conveyance, and the deed
Yeah.
that was submitted says there was a conveyance.
And your tax map says there was effectively.
It looks like there was.
Yeah,
It looks like it was.
so I think.
Your client should have, when they purchased the property, had a title policy.
I'll
I
double-check
saw
that.
I saw who the return was. I would be gobsmacked if, and I know that attorney, I would be gobsmacked if she did not suggest to your client a
I
title
believe so.
policy.
Okay, let me double check that. Okay, no problem. What is the minimum lot you would say we need to leave for the existing structure?
With the lot size,
Yeah, we're talking about we have enough lots. So what is the
I forget.
10,000,
It's,
isn't it?
yeah, 10,000, yes.
10,000 is the minimum lot area, I guess.
Yeah, and you have the area, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had
definitely.
actually already gone through the map, I remember subtracting out the area and looking, and you still have enough.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure. All right, so then, comment number 3, proposed lot 1 is considered a corner lot and is subject to section 200-18. On corner lots, front yards are required on both street frontages, and 1 yard other than the front yard shall be deemed to be a rear yard, and the other a side yard. Side yards have been revised on the plan, however, the front yard is shown 30 feet from the center of High Street. It is recommended that it be shown 55 feet from the center of High Street to account for the area of dedication, or as it might be, what was already dedicated potentially. The resultant front yard can be identified as an existing non-conforming condition. Okay? Number 4, on sheet 2, the existing plan, there appears to be dashed lines. See the area just above the MDC label. It is unclear what these lines are intended for. I wasn't exactly sure what they were, but you can, if they're relevant, you can have them labeled.
So basically, I spoke to the surveyor, so he said that it's part of an old, because this originally used to be a couple of small lots that were combined together into one lot. So I told him if it's not a lot anymore, then just take down those lines. I mean, it just confuses everybody.
Yeah,
He
either that or
said
label.
his professional obligation, he needs to keep it there. If this is what it shows, he needs to keep it there. So I'm sorry about that.
Well, I would just clarify what those lines are and have them add a label on there to show.
So yeah, this is what he's actually showing, that it's what did he say on the survey? He says that it's from an old whatever lot line as per unrecorded survey.
That's on the survey.
On the
That's-
survey, he's
right.
like calling for.
Okay. But again, this goes back to the fact that the surveyor hasn't signed the subdivision map. So,
No, that's two different things. Subdivision map is prepared by an engineer.
No,
Not
the
a
subdivision
By
map
code,
is.
it's got to be prepared by a licensed surveyor.
Yeah. So when you file the subdivision map, it has to be signed by a surveyor for this board to approve and for the county clerk to accept it.
Oh, the surveyor needs to sign it.
Yes, yeah.
Got it.
So, it's fine that we have a copy of the survey, but what actually is reviewed and approved is not the survey map. It's the subdivision map,
Got it.
okay? Number 5, sheet 5 indicates a total disturbance of 5,161 square feet, which is less than the half-acre threshold for requiring preparation of a full SWIP, so that's just an informational comment.
So we don't need.
Correct. Number 6, regarding the submitted short EAF form, A, question 12 indicates that the project contains or is substantially contiguous to a building, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places or has been determined as eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places. Applicant has provided correspondence from SHPO indicating no potential impact on historic resources. That would be just informational as well. Number 7, water and sewer service connections have been shown on sheet 4. However, the separation provided between the water and sewer services is shown to be less than the 10-foot requirement.
Okay. We'll have a look on that.
Okay, number 8, in the bulk table, the lot area is subject to section 57-21.1, which states that such phrase shall be deemed to be based upon net acreage, following the exclusion of environmentally constrained lands such as wetlands, steep slopes, easements, etc. A note should be added to the plan stating that this has been addressed when calculating the lot area, meaning that any existing environmentally constrained lands have been subtracted from the total. Now, I suspect that you probably don't have any constrained lands,
That's correct.
but
So
again,
we'll
because
put a
the
note
code
on the
requires
plan.
it, add the section
This
there
note.
to show that it's been accounted for, okay? Number 9, connection of the sanitary sewer is subject to review and approval by the Orange County Environmental Facilities. 10, properties within 500 feet of a state highway and is subject to referral to the Orange County Department of Planning under General Municipal Law 239. And number 11, a public hearing will be required for the subdivision.
All right. So,
You've got most of mine already.
Yeah, I think it was clear, yeah.
pardon?
No, I was just answering council on something. So it sounds like you have your homework, right?
Yeah. So basically, we need to clarify on the lot area. So what it is?
And Terry will email you. I apologize, my comments weren't finished until this afternoon. Terry will email you the comments. I will get them to her by email tomorrow morning.
I was happy already. There's no.
So that way you'll have the specific comments.
All right. I appreciate it. Sure.
Okay.
Okay,
All right. So we need to wait for scheduling the public hearing yet. Still.
yeah, because I think we don't have enough information yet.
We
you know,
have to complete seeker.
And we have to
So
complete seeker before we do the.
So that would
before we
be-
do
Did
that.
the
That would-
239 go out? The county
239
referral?
can go out. You can send 239 out. You can
Yeah,
send.
so we'll send a 239 for the county.
So
All right.
next submission, assuming that these issues were addressed, we would go through the part 2. I don't expect any major impacts given the scale and size.
Right.
We would conclude seeker and then we would
Schedule a
schedule a
public
public
meeting.
hearing. Because it is a subdivision, we have to conclude seeker first.
Yes.
It's not like
Yep.
site plan.
There's no other agencies that need approval on this, is there? Orange County Environmental Facilities, but I don't know if that's considered a permit.
That's just a permit. There's no discretion, it's not discretionary.
Okay, so then there's no coordination needed?
We can also do an uncoordinated review. There's nothing preventing us from doing an uncoordinated review.
Right.
I don't,
Do we have, let me look at the EAF and see, make sure there's nothing else on there.
Was it long? There wasn't a long EF done, was it?
no, I wasn't,
So the title, so the part two,
the part two is the
That we have-
analysis,
that we have to look at,
that's our
yeah.
chunk, yeah.
So they just listed Village of Monroe Planning Board as the only agency, they need approval.
yeah, on the EAF, that's what it says.
Yeah, and environmental facilities.
I don't know that
And
warrants
the
coordinated.
239, but that's not.
I don't
Yeah.
think that warrants coordinated review.
Okay,
If it was like the ZBA or somebody,
yeah, okay.
DEC or somebody else like that, then maybe.
Okay,
All right, I'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Good
thank
evening,
you.
everybody.
have a good night. Okay, and 386 Route 17M.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good, it's been a while.
Been a little while.
Yes, we're getting back into the swing of things.
So before we, why don't we just do the same? We'll start with Dave, we'll start with your stuff, and then Elizabeth.
All right. I think I can skip the project description, right?
Yeah,
Let's see if I can hit high points here. There's a lot
I
of.
could just maybe just start off why I'm here. I mean, obviously, it's an ongoing project. We've made some tweaks to the layout. And I think, sort of taking the approach, what I've done with other projects is kind of, get the board's blessing on that. If you guys are good with this, then we could take it and, prepare a full set of plans. So there's gonna be a lot of outstanding comments that are related to grading, drainage, utilities, all that. We're not up to there yet. It's kind of getting your feedback on the layout. And
Well,
then,
maybe it'd be helpful, actually, can we pull up the map? Maybe you can talk about the layout so the board can get an understanding of exactly what you're proposing in terms of the layout?
And we probably have some questions too about, things like restoration, if there's been any restoration done on the lot from the,
I'll tell you straight up, I don't know what's been going on. I've just, what the applicant's been up to or anything like that. I'm just, tasked with resolving engineering issues. What was that?
They've been busy over there.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will relay that to other people.
we may not get very far then,
Okay.
just so we know.
Perfect, okay.
So, yeah, if the applicant wants to show up, that'd be a good idea, really, really good idea.
I will recommend that to the next meeting. It's good to know.
Do we have, how do you label your plans? I don't know what they.
It's the, no, it was late, it was traffic turn and keep going.
Up top, maybe.
Yeah,
Scroll
it's
up.
up top.
Scroll up.
It's
Yeah, layout and truck turn. Yes,
that one.
yes. Okay. What we've kind of done is, we've got two sides of this. We've got the fencing business and the landscaping business. Until now, what's been shown has sort of been some sprawl of pavement, and we've taken this and made it a little neater. We've got the employee parking area. We've got an area for the employees to park their cars. The idea is that they get there for both businesses, and they get there and they could, go ahead and take the trucks out and go do their thing. We also have some overnight parking areas for the trucks. We've widened, very important, handy dandy pointer.
Tara's ready.
We widened the entrance. I think this culvert's not in the best of shape. Proposing, new culvert over here, made these turns more manageable. As you guys can see on the next page, we ran some truck turn analysis. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, we've shown parking areas, we've cleaned up the pavement, made some nice areas for them to park, and, improved the entranceway.
What are the uses of each of the buildings?
One is for a landscaping, storage of materials for a landscaping business, and one is for a fencing business. So we've got a full architectural plan. You see we've got these garage doors here,
Where's the residence?
here, here, and here.
So there's two residences in the middle,
Two residential
and
buildings.
commercial on either side.
Yes,
Okay.
the existing uses.
So that existing two-story frame dwelling, that's a residence.
Yes.
This and this.
And in front of that parking is the business parking.
Here you're saying?
Yeah, no, before that, right there.
Not this?
That,
That's residential parking.
all that's residential parking.
This is residential parking. This is an existing landscaping business, an existing parking area for the business, but we put the employees over here.
And show me where they clear cut everything without a permit.
I think that's all this back here.
It's up front too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it is up front.
Front also, so, yeah.
So, I just want to be clear that other than the two residential uses, right now, there should be no other activity happening on that site. So,
Meaning the landscaping business.
yeah, none of it's,
Period.
you don't have site plan,
Nothing.
you don't have site plan approval, you don't have building department approval. So I'm gonna put that on record, that, my understanding is, obviously, there's past activity, which you're aware of, but.
Or you're not.
To my
I'm not.
I want to be direct.
Maybe we can have, to Elizabeth, since Ron's here, he could probably tell the professional for the applicant all that's gone on, so you're informed. And then it'll give you much greater of an idea on what's there. So maybe you can do that, Ron? Would you be willing?
The bottom left of the property has no approvals whatsoever and is currently occupied by the business. Right there. And that whole top right area, I'm looking at our computer database, top right, none of that's approved, with all to the right. So that whole area is not approved. And there is currently violations outstanding for the bottom left that have been going on for quite some period of time.
I think maybe, give me my card, maybe send it to me, so I could,
Because it's a legal matter, you're gonna have to contact the building report.
Or the applicant?
It's fine, okay, yeah. Got it.
Avi, I appreciate you're not the applicant and you're here on behalf of the applicant. I just want to make sure that you have a clear picture of what's going on with respect to the project. So I think, Dave, why don't you go through your comments and then
Yeah.
I'll go through mine.
Okay. Okay, number one, Village Code 200-44I prohibits loading spaces from being located within 200 feet of any residential district boundary. The plan does show the district, the boundary on the plans. The proposed loading areas have been shown to be within the 200-foot offset. So unless the loading areas are relocated, a variance will be required.
Okay. I mean, there's really no, if the building's just staying like that, we'll go for the variance. I mean, where else could we put them? Obviously, we're gonna do all we can to screen. Yep.
Okay. Number two, the turning analysis provided for the garbage truck shows the garbage truck driving over two of the landscape vehicle and equipment trailer overnight parking spaces. We recommend revising the turning analysis to avoid these spaces. Should avoiding these spaces not be possible, we recommend relocating the spaces to avoid any potential conflict with refuse collection.
Okay, so the idea was that those are overnight parking. They're out, they park there at night, but they're out during the day when the garbage truck comes. With that being said, I could easily, if you want to pull back the map,
Okay. Did you want to review that, or do you want to keep going?
no, I'll just explain to you quickly
Okay.
what I'm gonna propose to you, so we don't have to, no point in guessing, checking.
Okay.
One of two things, I could either have it come in like this and then go back out or just continue around, or vice versa, depending on front loading or rear loading. I could just show it like that, but the idea is, if you go to the next page, that's what he's referring to. Again, these spaces are used at night, it's this one. These spaces are used at night, the idea is the truck shouldn't be there. So what actually ends up happening is probably something like this, but if, to demonstrate, if you need me to show it where he comes in and then backs out and then continues around, or vice versa, I could show that, but.
Yeah, if that's how it's going to be used, I have no objection to it.
Right. I can understand.
Just understand if the vehicles are still there when the truck,
Right,
the
we'll
garbage
show a
truck
way that
comes,
they
it
can
might
deal
be a
with it.
problem.
Okay.
And I know there's a lot of fences and gates and areas that are cordoned off, so it might be, a challenge for them to come in and collect the garbage.
Well, yeah, we'll have to arrange for that, yeah.
Number three, the plans propose 3 gates blocking access to a portion of the site. We recommend that plans include the location for a Knox box or similar for rapid entry of emergency personnel. Number 4, from the AF dated And actually, what I would recommend, and I probably should, is that this should be sent to emergency services for comment. Okay, number 4, from the EAF dated October 9th, 2024, it is stated that 0.92 acres will be disturbed by the project. In that case, based on Village Code 168-11, any proposed action with more than half an acre of disturbance is classified as a land development activity. Section 168-12A states that no application for approval of a land development activity shall be reviewed until the appropriate board has received a stormwater pollution prevention plan prepared in accordance with the specifications in this article and Article 1 of this chapter. Therefore, a SWIP will be required. Number 5, proposed utilities shall be shown on the plans. Number 6, details for ADA parking, striping, and signage shall be provided. Number 7, the plans should show a no parking sign for the ADA accessible parking aisle. Number 8, site distances for the driveway shall be provided. 9, the note for the existing dumpster location points to the proposed dumpster enclosure. We recommend showing the existing dumpster location on the plans. Number 10, Village Code 200-34H3 requires that all dumpsters placed in the village have a dumpster enclosure. Details for the dumpster enclosure shall be provided. Number 11, pursuant to Village Code 200-72I1B, the following will need to be provided on or along with the site plan. A, the location of all existing and proposed water lines, valves and hydrants, all sewer lines and other utilities. B, a detailed lighting plan showing proposed location, direction, and type of outdoor lighting. C, existing and proposed contours with intervals of 2 feet. D, boundaries and identification of existing soil types as may be found in the Soil Survey of Orange County, New York. E, a separate landscape plan showing both existing and proposed landscaping, retaining walls, and tree plantings, including a note on the plan indicating that all approved landscaping will be maintained in perpetuity. F, the details of the dumpster enclosure. Number 12, Village Code 200-32C requires a landscaping plan for all uses aside from a single-family detached dwelling, a two-family residence, or an agricultural use. Landscaping is also subject to 200-44J and 200-45J. 13, pursuant to Village Code 200-32E, a tree plan shall be submitted. Any trees greater than 8 inch in diameter should be marked on the plan. The plan shall indicate whether existing trees shall be removed or preserved, and the plan shall make provisions to preserve existing trees to the greatest extent possible. Other natural features should also be marked on a tree plan, including ground cover, shrubs, vines, flowers, lawns, and similar natural plant formations. It is our understanding that significant tree clearing has already been done by the applicant without a permit or approval. Actually, one of the things I should mention is when you prepare the SWIP, you will need to make an accounting for the way conditions were prior to the tree clearing.
Right, we discussed that last
At the
time. We
last
have to go
meeting.
back to the original survey and then call it woods or whatever when it
You'll
comes
have
to.
yeah.
Correct, okay. Number 14, the limited disturbance should be shown on the plan. 15, a pavement detail shall be provided. 16, Village Code 200-34D requires non-residential uses to provide a fire lane approved by the fire chief for access by emergency vehicles at all times. In cases where fire lanes cannot be provided, the site plan shall be presented to the fire chief with a written explanation from the applicant why a fire lane cannot be feasibly provided. In the opinion of the applicant, we recommend the proposed location of a fire lane be provided on the plans and for the plans to be presented to the fire chief for comment. 17, the plan and survey do not appear to both show the same floodplains. The site plan shows that the area of the floodplains is at the 565-foot contour, whereas the survey shows a line for an area flood hazard X and a label, the 566 contour for area flood hazard A. We recommend revising the survey to clearly show the floodplains and revising the site plan as needed for consistency. A floodplain development permit will be required for any grading or improvements within the flood hazard areas in accordance with Village Code Chapter 107, Flood Damage Prevention.
If you just pause on that for a second and pull up the plan, I'll remove all information from the survey. The idea is that the floodplain goes based on the contour. Per FEMA maps, when they give an actual in Zone A, when they give you a flood elevation, you just use, if they told you that elevation, then a survey could supersede that and whatever that contour is. So what was put on the survey happens to have been Zone X, which is not relevant. That'll just be removed. And what we show, well, it's not on this plan, but on the grading plan, if you go to the first plan, actually no, it's on the first plan. It's not labeled that clearly, but you see the floodplain limit at the 565 contour. If per FEMA, which if you look at their maps, it's the 565 contour. They're telling us it's a flood elevation.
And that's the same datum as the survey?
Well, I will double check that.
Okay.
It better be. But yes, yeah,
Okay.
that's where it's coming from. I will check that it's
Okay.
within ABD 88.
Well, I think that was part of the
Yeah.
question, because the
Yeah,
two,
we deal with that all
the
the
two
time.
lines didn't seem to match.
Right.
Okay.
In addition to that, I will provide, just, in general, I don't know what the floodplain permit application is, but I'll fill that out, but I'll provide a letter. Are you the floodplain administrator, or? No, okay. I'll provide a letter stating that there is absolutely zero impact on the floodplain. It's in a non-effective flow area, so,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, it would be to the building department,
yeah.
the floodplain disturbance permit, and
Right.
I believe, if I remember, it calls for an engineer's report, and
Yeah,
I
we're
presume
just-
that my office would wind up reviewing that in conjunction with the building
So if I
department.
could just explain to you, that, so if we were to get you a letter just basically stating, based on our experience, that we could demonstrate this and we're not gonna go through all analysis.
No, but you will be required to get the permit
Yeah.
for any
Fine.
disturbance within the
Yeah.
floodplain.
Okay.
Number 18, the project is subject to architectural review per 200-73. Architectural plans have been included as part of this submission. Number 19, this application will require referral to the Orange County Planning Department for a review pursuant to GML 239 based on proximity to a state highway. Plans should be more developed prior to this referral. And number 20, a public hearing will be required.
Okay.
So let me ask you a few questions.
Do you want mine?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
That's
I
actually,
want yours first, yes.
that's actually a surprise, because I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah,
so Fingers
No.
crossed.
No? Okay. Just revised SCAF corrected, we had prior comments on the short form environmental assessment form. The revised SCAF is to be signed and dated, while submitted SCAF is facially complete other than the signature and date. Planning board to evaluate environmental impact prior to decision. Again, architectural review. Applicant indicates that a landscape buffer is shown along the rear property line. The revised plan shows a proposed 6-foot solid fence along the westerly property line. Section 200-44J requires visual screening from adjoining properties. Planning board to evaluate for adequacy. Applicant proposes 2 loading zones within 200 feet of a residential zone, which will require a variance, and that's 244I. We talked about SWIP.
If I could just make a point, I know this is obviously not the zoning board, but just fundamentally, just to get feedback from the board, these 2 loading areas are very different, whereas this is being screened by the building. So while maybe within 200 feet, we do, the noise of it, or the reason why you'd want, the idea of mitigating it, you have a building that's in between. I'm just wondering if that's something that would help.
Say that again?
When you have to keep loading, when they prohibit loading within 200 feet, or you need a variance,
Yeah.
Granted, it's not within 200 feet, but what you do have in this case is where you have the building itself serving as a buffer. Meaning that the loading is away from the residential area and you have the building in between.
I'd say you need to get the zoning board's approval.
Right, I understand, I'm just wondering if something like that would help.
It wouldn't help me, but if the zoning board
Right.
says okay,
Got it.
Okay. Source of any imported fill and testing of fill to be to the satisfaction of the village engineer. See requirements of 200-31 land disturbance. Applicant to address traffic flow both internal and external to the site, including on-site maneuvering and site distance, and that remains outstanding.
Meaning the site distance part.
Everything that I'm going to be honest, it looks like an amorphous blob, and how that site's going to flow both internally, externally, traffic coming in off of 17M, how much traffic is going to be there. All of those are issues that will need to be addressed by the board, that we don't have that information available to us. So that's going to be an issue that needs to be, is this a business that's going to get 10 trucks an hour, 1 truck an hour? Those are all,
I see what you're saying.
all those things. But again, the parking lot, because you're trying to work around existing structures, you show one way going in, and then there's two way up at the top. So what happens when the guy coming north to south gets the one way? Like
Here?
yeah, you
it's
show
right.
one,
Yeah,
like
you're
it's
right.
just, and then you've got stuff gated off. So you're gonna have to explain it to us in a submission. Because again, the site is not what we typically, and one of your other projects, a nice, neat, organized parking lot, we can understand the flow of that site. This site's much
I'm
harder.
not saying that I typically design either.
I,
I mean, before you guys can do anything, you gotta answer for these violations. I mean, this property's been a problem for a long time now, and they just don't seem to get it. I mean, it's a matter of, and this is not you, but it's a matter of good faith on their part. They can't keep violating the law and then come to the planning board and say, oh, let's talk about what we're gonna do in the future. Well, before you get to there,
Yeah.
take care of the existing violations of law.
So I think, if I'm right, Alvin, you could double check with this, or Elizabeth might have comments on this, but there was supposed to be some restoration done to the property, but to date, I don't think any of that has been done,
Fine.
you know, so,
I think they're trying to avoid restoration by approval from this board.
right, which will not happen, clearly will
Fine.
not happen, you know, so.
All right.
Although you can, you know, they can keep sending you, and that's not a bad thing
No,
for
it's
you.
gonna get to a point also. You know.
Okay, I want to keep going. Applicant to identify the number of trees cleared using orthoimagery and provide a replacement as provide for replacement as required by 200-32. This is a repeat comment per 200-26-2. An accessory structure shall not be located in the front yard. And this is related to, I should be more clear, this is related to the landscape storage bin. I read it, and this is subject to an interpretation of the building inspector, but I read it that that's a structure and should not be located in the front yard. We did receive, this is back in last March, March 2025, revised plans indicate a wetland delineation was prepared by Michael Nowicki, David Higgins to review for adequacy. Applicant has shown a proposed dumpster enclosure on the plans, a detail to be provided. I do note that the proposed garbage truck turning movements, we've talked about this already, require encroachment into marked parking spaces. I further note that a resident of the easterly building will need to traverse through a series of gates in order to dispose of garbage. Applicant to address the adequacy of the dumpster to serve all uses and occupants on the site. Survey submitted with the application. I defer to Engineer Higgins as to adequacy. I had a prior comment about terms. Right now, the application is for sale and storage of lumber and building materials. That was the LUD that was submitted. I appreciate they're close, but the words warehouse are being used interchangeably, so we just need to be consistent throughout those documents. Again, I have a repeat comment with respect to the bulk table. We have a number of uses on the site, and each specific use will need to have their space. I think they listed as residential and commercial, but I'd like to see it called out more than that.
So Avi, while Elizabeth is looking for her further comments there.
I think I got them all.
So the residential area, when you look, there's like a 6-foot fence around the whole thing. There's
Right.
multiple gates they would have to go through even to take the garbage out.
Right, you're saying, wait, to get out. You're saying what, to take it to this dumpster area?
Right.
Right, so I was thinking about that, maybe we're gonna make like an opening or something like that at the dumpster.
I just,
Yeah,
sometimes it's not a legal, it's not a code issue, it's a purely practical, how is the site gonna operate, and how would, how would a person operate? Because if the dumpster is not easy to get to and tenants don't use the dumpster, then the site gets dumpy.
right.
So there needs to be
I'll talk to the client, maybe a residential dumpster as well.
It's just, yeah. And
Yeah.
like I said, the overall site, and I appreciate the historic site has been somewhat of a mishmash, but we're now even making it more of a
No,
mishmash.
I understand.
Right.
This is not something that I could have come up with this if I could.
No, and it's, and I think too, it's like, it's a mishmash. It's like just a mess.
So my question is, Elizabeth, like where to start in terms of, let's put
That's the
violations.
engineer's
Let's
deal.
put- yeah, let's
Do you
put
want my
violations.
real answer or my lawyer
No, I mean, when it
answer?
comes to like movements, and like, meaning, we showed that that, you know, right, we provide some turning
My
analysis.
real answer would be eliminate the southerly building and stick with what you had and clean that up and move on. That would be my real answer.
Right,
Maybe an
but I'm-
extension of the existing building.
Right, but I'm, you know.
I just,
No,
lots of trees.
Right, I mean, I could put landscaping, but, you know, in terms of movements and all that, I get it, you know, I didn't even get to, you know, site distance
Well,
and all that, I didn't.
I think you're good, I mean, because, one, without an understanding of how your client intends to use the property, and again, without knowing the number of truck trips, without knowing the scale and scope of the business, you know, I can't, there's nothing for me to base it on.
So you would want us to maybe add more of that, I mean, we did provide some, but you want more of that in the narrative? Yeah.
Well, because the first thing this board's gonna do without that is this board's gonna go, you know, assume the worst, which it has to.
Like
And
you guys
without
did
that
earlier.
information, we're gonna do on the part two, we're gonna say potential moderate to large impact for traffic, and then we're gonna go make you do a traffic study.
I think
And-
we're definitely gonna do that.
So,
I just have, I mean, to piggyback on what Fred, with the violations, the fact that we've been moving this far, how many violations are there? And do they have to be rectified before we even keep having this conversation?
so, in some instances, and I'm gonna speak in generalities, I don't wanna speak to a specific case, right? The site's in violation, and nothing the planning board can do can rectify that. In other cases, by coming to the planning board, a property owner can rectify the violation. They did something without coming to us, and once we issue the approval, they can become in compliance, right? This applicant is trying to do that. Now, they do not have the benefit, so had these improvements and clearing been approved, they would only be addressing the changes, but since they did not do that, they have to go back to their precondition, which was substantially different. So that's why they, you know, would have to prepare a SWIP. That's why they're gonna have to show us historic, and there's mapping online that you can go look at historic aerial images, and you can see the trees, that kind of stuff. So you can see the clearing and that kind of stuff.
I believe also we could deny the application, kick it back to the building department code enforcement. They can
Until that's rectified.
rectify it.
Are trucks gonna loop around the whole property?
Yes, and there
Well,
are,
how close are the people, there's people that live behind
That
us.
row of trees is residential.
The people live in the middle.
No, no, no.
No, but beyond the trees.
The SR10 is immediately behind those trees.
yes. If we could just get into what you just said before, again, the idea is with the SWIP and all that I understand. You know, when it comes to things like truck movements, and like, I wanna get that, again, the violations I can't speak for. But just in terms of the layout of the site, I'm trying to get something that's pinned down that you guys are okay with, you know, before I go
Well,
ahead and run a stormwater analysis and then.
I'm gonna, and I've said this, and somebody once said to me, if you don't like a project, say no early and often.
Yeah, it's
true. I think the project is designed around, and this is not a criticism of your engineering,
I don't need to explain to you guys, you know I wouldn't.
You're dealing with what the hand you were dealt.
Yes.
I think you're trying to design a site for work that was already done, rather than design the site and then do the work to conform to the site
Right,
design.
exactly.
Yeah, well, it's
And-
what, but certain things I've done, for example, like, you know, cleaned up, if you look at the old plans.
I get it's cleaned up, but
But, yeah.
it's,
But you're cleaning up what was already in violation, already
I
done.
understand that, right.
so the client can elect to clear up this violation by restoring the site to what it was without planning board.
Right.
They can go
But
to
it almost,
restoration.
I think, I mean, again, I can't speak for him, I think I met him once at a shop, a workshop here. It seems like he's not gonna do that clearly from the fact that he's going ahead and doing whatever he's doing. So, again, I'm not saying the board just has to say, oh, well, so we'll accommodate, just a question of, you know, are you just taking this whole design and throwing it out, or do I go continue up this path with this? You know, that's really just what I'm trying to ascertain here.
You know, it's really hard to answer, because
Right,
you don't know the applicant and you don't know what he wants or what he's done
right.
or any of that. So that's, I guess somehow he sent this to you and said, could you make this work
Right.
in some way?
Right.
So to us, like, you know, you come in and you just do what you want to do with no permissions, no anything.
Right.
And you get stopped, right? And you keep going.
Right.
Yeah, my vote would be to deny the application. Completely. Send it back to, you know, send him, whoever it is that owns it, back to the building department
Right.
and say, fix this.
Got it.
And they would tell you what the fix is, because that's not our,
Right.
So how's he able to even operate? Like, as-
He's not.
well, he's not.
But he is.
Yes.
That's a code, that's a, excuse me.
Unless you put
my
a gate in that front.
point.
Throwing money around?
Right, like you
Yeah,
contrast
that's
this to
fine.
58117M that I'm dealing with, there's a very clear sequence of what we're trying to do, make a nice
We,
product. Right.
this is not any reflection on you.
Right.
No, and everybody knows that.
Right.
My
So-
jacket slipped in a head.
I felt bad for you walking through the door.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe, could we end the hearing? You know, just want to take everything off the record. It seems like we're doing this. No, I'm saying is
No.
it,
I don't think we can if we're going to talk about the application.
okay, fine.
You can, you can request a technical meeting, but it won't be the whole board. If it's the
Yeah.
full board, I gotta have it on, I gotta have it open.
Right, no, I'm just, again.
If you
like,
want a
know,
technical- if you
I
want
could
a-
keep doing stuff, and we have technical comments from today to tomorrow, but it sounds like I get where the board is going. I'm hearing stuff now as to what's been going on.
Here's the thing, your client's gonna have to pursue this in good faith, right? And, because of what's in front of us, there's likely going to be there's a heavy lift. It's right on 17. We're gonna need to see
Right.
that traffic analysis to make,
Right.
right? But this
I think
is
the
now,
one EAF needs to be filled out.
we're now on,
I did,
Our
I think- I did
fifth
one, it must have been
submission
short.
with-
Okay, fine.
and I know it's not all you, we're on our 5th submission for this applicant. And he's been in violation since May of 2024. So, like I said, I know Jeff has articulated that his vote would be to deny the application. I've advised Jeff, that we have to process the application in good faith, but so does your client. And so, if we can, see that we're not moving forward anywhere, we're going to be in the position of saying to the building department, we have to deny the application because the applicant hasn't moved forward in good faith. So,
We have not, just so you know, Avi, because again, you don't know the history, we have not seen any good faith act from the applicant in anything that we're looking at, right?
So I'm just wondering, maybe, should this continue, maybe the next meeting, I think it would be very crucial that he comes.
That would be really
Yeah,
great.
Yeah.
That'd be excellent.
No, because it's not good for me either, to just.
Right.
No one's happy.
Right.
He gets my bills, so, yeah.
like I said, and I understand you're working with two pre-existing, actually 3 pre-existing buildings, and I understand that. But we're designing this backwards.
Right. We're backing into it instead of. And I think,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken, there's 10 occupants to that middle.
Total 5 units.
5 units.
Oh, what was I thinking? 10? I was thinking-
No, it's 10 parking spots because
Oh, that's what it
the
is.
code
Okay.
is two per apartment.
I think there are
Okay.
2 things that I'm taking out of this. I will obviously tell my client that you need to deal with these violations, that's fine. And I think more importantly, maybe I will go ahead and, try, now that I see where the board is going with this, try and maybe redesign some stuff where it's more, as if we're a real plant coming forward and not like
Yeah.
Elizabeth is saying. So, okay. Instead of just, showing what's done.
I'd like to recommend one thing.
Yeah.
The whole top. In the time that I've been working here, 3 of those homes up in the top left and middle have received significant flooding during heavy rains. So I would encourage whatever you're gonna be doing to take into consideration, those properties do flood. I've gone out there in my sneakers and realized that they were legitimate complaints because those properties were severely covered in water. Whatever you're gonna do, we just talked about re-engineering, I would totally encourage you to take drain water consideration in that, because those residents have not been happy with this home.
We always like to.
That whole area has been, everywhere you're showing, has been a significant problem, and I appreciate you letting me know.
work cut out.
Well, let's see first. I'm not even sure I do at this point, yeah.
Trees are your friend.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I get that. but
Trees,
again,
trees are your friend.
Backtracking, I could pull trees everywhere here, but if you guys aren't happy with the layout and you're telling me that the way this looks now is just not gonna fly, then, you know.
You know, when you look at it, do you think that's a good layout?
But again, you're also dealing with a site that's putting violations aside, that's zoned for one thing, that somehow has houses on them.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, your
could be
client
one-
also has a choice.
and the
which-
houses are in the middle.
Well,
That's
but-
exactly.
But time out. Your client has a choice. Your client is kind of having a have your cake and eat it too moment. Your client can propose to take down the houses and design the site as a
commercial business.
clean site
Well,
and have
he's
more flexibility. But your client would like the income from the rentals.
I was
which
gonna
is-
say that, to push
which
back.
which is their business choice. But don't complain that they have to work around it because that's a
Right.
choice.
Right, but again,
GB, right?
It's general business, and
Right,
those are
but-
pre-existing, and they're permitted to.
That property has significantly increased
special
as well. If you look on what Elizabeth said about the past,
Right.
you'll understand that area has quadrupled in size.
No, I get that,
The
but again,
surrounding area you're talking
one
about.
thing I think is a
Where the lot is-
He's
non-starter.
got bigger, he's out of line.
I get that, but one thing to, like you just said, Elizabeth, you know, it is his, I guess, right. He wants to keep those houses as income, so we've got to work with that. You know, would it be?
But that's a business decision,
Yeah.
not a, and also just remind your client of the special permit standards in,
Yes,
in,
I was gonna mention
in
that.
48, because those are the.
48 or 48?
48.
Oh.
Those are the standards that this
Dash
board is
two.
going to have to evaluate.
-2.
There's, 48.2.
Point 2, right.
We have a series of special permit standards that we will have to evaluate, and some of that includes traffic and all of that, and think long and hard about whether you meet those standards, because that's what this board has to do. So, things like noise and vibration and is having a truck run along the back property line, address that. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
It's nice seeing you.
I think we'd be an obby up and up.
Hopefully for 2. 581, I've got another one in 17, I'm coming. Yeah, so,
No, it'd be great. And bring the owner back. You know?
well, yeah, perfect.
All right. They paved over there that the lot on 17M there, right? They paved the whole front of the place?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't, I'm actually gonna come back to you on that next month. We did some minor tweaks in the back to add some landscaping.
Mhm.
So just looks a little different, but we were able to open up some more grass areas in the rear, because I know you guys, it's hard to keep track of where, but I know you guys had mentioned you want some landscaping along the edges of the building. And again, you're limited in that site because.
More
of-
landscaping, the better.
So that's
So are
what
they
we
gonna
did.
add all the landscaping now after they did all that work paving it in the front of the lot, like all the lights and the curbs and?
Well, yeah, he's gonna have to do what we showed on the plan,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's gotta
yeah.
meet the requirements there. So, you know, right now, what's holding up that project is just the mechanics of the subdivision. We're kind of stuck with the AG, but I think we now have a path forward on that, so
Awesome.
it should come back. I should have submitted this month just to go over the layout, but I think it's pretty much the same, just we've shifted, you know, more landscaping. Nothing you guys wouldn't like, so.
Yep.
Yep.
Good. All right, Avi, thank you.
Perfect.
Anything else? Anybody else? No?
Thank you so much.
See you next month.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
You too. Enjoy.
It's always nice to get to go to Woodbury on the way up. Especially this time of year.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, so we don't have minutes or anything tonight because we are
in a work session.
in workshop.
So just,
I
just
do-
to summarize, I just want to make sure, so for our meeting on the 25th, we have 123, 125 Elm on for potential discussion of conditional approval / architectural review.
For 123, 125, you said?
Elm.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'll try to
So
have.
yeah, there's, I mean, conditions.
I'm just running through who's on the agenda, not to open that discussion. I'm just,
No, I get it. And
do we have anybody else that's not here this evening? Or is it just gonna be a quickie before Thanksgiving?
I hope just nice and quick.
Oh, for the, yeah, who's on the?
I'm just,
agenda?
that's all I'm
Right,
trying to
I understand,
ascertain.
yeah.
But there wasn't anything carried over from last month, right?
No.
What's the date of the next meeting? I'm just not
Did we schedule
Here, I
anybody
got
for
it,
public
I
hearing?
got
It
it,
doesn't
I
need
got
to
it.
be-
It's okay,
Let's know.
No,
Oh, from last
yeah.
month. you mean?
25th.
yeah.
So that's literally, that's 2 days before Thanksgiving, so. Are you guys all here for that meeting? It's the 25th, 2 days before Thanksgiving. Okay, so, all right.
Oh, 573, we motioned to continue to the public hearing to 11:25
573 with 17M.
to allow notice, and then, of course, DOH was like, we don't need to give a permit on
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
so I feel really badly, but
Did you see that thing that I sent from that woman Olivia today? She gave me this whole,
I emailed you back.
today? No, another one today. I just said question mark because I didn't know what she was.
Oh, I'll take a look.
I'm assuming that it's nothing.
I don't
because
think,
of-
oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't think so. I agree. I don't think it's anything.
And the
Um,
health department said that they don't need to
Yeah.
review it as a water main extension because
So
the
then she
hydrants are being run
doesn't need
separate.
anything, I'm thinking.
So,
But
yeah.
just look at it and let me know.
Yeah, so those are the two, so we do have two. I
So
did,
now 573 doesn't need to be renoted. I don't have to do.
no, they
anything
don't need
about
it
that?
because we specifically adjourned it to that date and that
So
because,
it's just a.
yep. So just please put that one on your agenda. I'm glad I double checked.
573,
No, 573 is the long skinny building.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was having a good
That's
night
the one
today,
with
guys.
the
Bring up Sheffield.
Fire hydrant issue. That's Mike Morganti's project.
Is anything with the queue coming up?
question.
Or is that resolved or what?
No, we're
Oh, that's right, you're gonna
You
do
just keep
inspection.
operating. Why do, okay.
Code enforcement.
Why would he stop doing
I
anything?
think I am as
When you're not
design
taking
engineer.
Was that
The joys of code enforcement.
still working, trying to figure out.
Right? Look,
Yeah, I'll go with you.
Let's,
It'll be worth a discussion.
thank you.
Okay. And Liz, you sent, just housekeeping on this other stuff, but the, you let the queue know it's a new application?
Well, I emailed Steve Esposito. They've got to, before we get anywhere, they got to pay a fair amount of money before we even touch this
because-
again.
Right. I think
So-
Terry's working through that right now.
So
with-
I think at this point, I'm not touching it until Terry says they paid up, but I'm
Gotcha,
still
yeah.
of the opinion that their approval has lapsed. I explained
Yes.
that to Steve Esposito.
Right,
Um,
yep.
So, but I'm not, again, I've put a little time just revisiting an old approval, but I'm not touching it again until I've confirmed the escrow's up to date. And you don't have to touch it either.
That's good news.
We just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. Perfect.
All right, guys.
Avi, I'll email comments in the morning.